Today's Philadelphia Eagles Now is presented by Rhone. They have really redefined how people think of dress shirts with their breathable, stretchable material. Don't have to worry about going to the dry cleaner anymore because these don't wrinkle and they're machine washable. 20% off for the Eagles Now family if you use the code ChatSports at Rhone.com/ChatSports. We'll tell you more about them coming up here in just a little while. So there's a ton to get to here early on a Tuesday. Dallas Goedert activated for this game on Christmas Eve Saturday against the Dallas Cowboys. Nick Sirianni spoke on 94 WIP this morning about Jalen Hurts' injury as well as Gardner Minshew. And I'm going to explain how even if Gardner Minshew does start for Philadelphia, I think the Birds win this game and in the process lock down the number one seed and they win the NFC East. Some very interesting numbers to look at. And of course the history with backups in this city. We'll dive into that as well. First though, 20 subscribers away from 38,000. If you want daily Eagles coverage that's informative and entertaining from a guy who grew up in the Philly area, this is your go-to spot. Hit that subscribe button right now. We'll keep you in the know with all things Birds year-round. EAGLES. You know all about that movement. All right, Dallas Goedert. So, been activated. His practice window was opened last week but did not play against the Chicago Bears. Nick Sirianni said after the game that he wasn't quite ready coming off of that shoulder injury. Has not played since Week 10 because of that injury that happened in the lone loss for Philadelphia this year, Monday Night Football against Washington on that very controversial play. And prior to Goedert missing time over the last several weeks, he was one of the best tight ends in football. Pass catching, I thought he was the best tight end in the league outside of Travis Kelce. And his numbers, even though he's missed all this time, still up there with some of the top tight ends in the National Football League. He was really compiling a career year, looking like a force to be reckoned with, especially with the ball in his hands, picking up yards after the catch. But his impact on this offense so profound because not only is he a safety valve and a security blanket, he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL and brings a level of physicality to this offense. So far up to this point, 43 catches, 544 yards, 3 touchdowns, average yards per catch. All year it's been right behind Travis Kelce at 12.7. And if Jalen Hurts does not play, and as of right now, Nick Sirianni has not ruled him out. I think that's more gamemanship, trying to get a competitive edge on Dallas. But big addition, especially if Minshew plays and Jalen Hurts does not. You lose Jalen Hurts, but then you get back one of the best tight ends in the National Football League, and tight ends for backup quarterbacks. Tight ends in the Shane Steichen, Nick Sirianni offense often serve as a security blanket with all that they can do in the pass and the run game. And we did get to see Dallas Goedert have a huge game with Gardner Minshew last year in that start for Minshew in the Meadowlands against the Jets. I think I said previously it came against the Giants. I meant the other joke New York team. But Goedert with Minshew last year in that first start after Hurts hurt his ankle, he went off. 6 catches, 105 yards, average yards per catch at 17.5. And you think about his usage in this offense, right, with Goedert here. Dump-off plays, checkdowns. You read the field. You go through your progressions. You hit him with that little safety valve type of route. Seam balls, bubbles, all of that can really alleviate the Cowboys' pass rush. All of those Cowboys defensive linemen, or if they send a blitz toward Gardner Minshew, they get upfield, right? And that's when Goedert fakes the block, leaks out to the right or the left, you dump it off to him. You get blockers out in front if you let the pass rush get upfield, and then Dallas Goedert is really difficult to bring down in the open field. So that's kind of the role that I expect him to have based on the sample size, obviously, that we've seen, but also with Gardner Minshew potentially being the quarterback and not Jalen Hurts, probably less RPOs with Minshew mania. If you hate the Dallas Cowboys, I want you to type F Dallas right now in the chat. Let's hear it from everybody. We're only getting started on today's show. I hope to hear from all of you, and I hope that you hang out throughout the duration of the program because we're about to take a look at some very fascinating Gardner Minshew numbers, and I'm going to explain why. Eagles can still win this game against the choking Cowboys. First, though, told you off the top of the show, Eagles Now is presented by Rhone. And when I was working at WNEP in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I struggled to come across a dress shirt that fit well, had durable material, and wasn't too long. Roan, I don't have to worry about any of those concerns. And for our Eagles Now family, 20% off your order if you head to roan.com/chatsports and enter the promo code chatsports. Roan has really redefined how you think about the dress shirt. It was due for a radical and reinvention. Roan certainly stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter shirt, which is the one that I'm wearing now, it's so comfortable, breathable. Check out this stretchy material as well. I'm done with that garbage material, especially cotton shirts out there. I love the athletic material because it allows me to look good and feel good. That's what Rome brings to the table. And it's also 100% machine washable, so you don't have to spend money at the dry cleaner. Take time to iron your shirt. It's machine washable, and it doesn't wrinkle. Odor-free technology as well. So head to roan.com/chatsports, promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. That's RHONE.com/chatsports, code chatsports. As for the latest on Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni saying this morning on WIP, Angelo Cataldi Morning Show, quote, "It's not something we deem to be long-term. According to reports out there, Jalen Hurts could miss this week against the Cowboys, as well as next week's game, too, against the New Orleans Saints." And Nick Sirianni, to his credit, did own up to the fact that the Eagles did not give the ball to Miles Sanders enough against a 3-win Bears team, with after the defeat to the Philadelphia Eagles has lost 7 games in a row. For a coach to actually own up to the mistakes being made with the game plan and the play calling, I appreciate that. As I've said time and time again during the watch party yesterday's show, the play calling never made sense. Why are you running Jalen Hurts 17 times? I understand that with the RPO action, sometimes that's based on the read. Hurts has to pull it down, and if he sees the linebacker or the end crash in, of course he's going to try to run the football. But there were designed quarterback draws as well, and you have to get into the ear of Jalen Hurts and say, Jalen, I understand this is an RPO, but Miles Sanders going into last week was top 5 in rushing yards, averaging more than 5 yards per carry, and he didn't get a touch until late in the second quarter. That's inexcusable. That is play calling, game planning malpractice to have to use Jalen Hurts and open himself up to getting injured as you're trying to chase a Super Bowl, and he's an MVP candidate against the listless Chicago Bears. Shane Steichen, Nick Sirianni, you need to be better, and I do appreciate Nick Sirianni to owning up to the mistakes that they had with the game plan as well as the play calling. And he did talk about the strategy this morning as well, saying they devoted a lot of efforts to the run game, did the Bears, and giving us one-on-ones, and the indication of the game that A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith had. They went off. I know what they're ranked in the run game, Chicago, but if a team wants to say, I'm going all in and you're going to have to throw to beat us, that's what some teams are going to do, and we're lucky enough to be able to be balanced and to be able to adjust and say, okay, you're doing that, we're doing this. A.J. had 181 yards, DeVonta had 126, so if they played that style that they were playing, we knew we could hurt them on the outside. And I did say that yesterday as well on Victory Monday. Like, yes, the game plan didn't make sense. Passing the football, Jalen Hurts still threw 2 picks, and A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith did both go off. So you took what the defense gave you, but you can still run the football to your running backs and not call running plays for Jalen Hurts against a team that entered having lost 6 straight, and you handed them their 7th straight L. You were the superior opponent. They were the inferior team, and to run Jalen Hurts to open himself up for injury does not make sense. Yes, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith went off for 181 and 126. They both had splash plays, 68 and 45, both of their longs, picking up yards after the catch. But again, you don't have an opportunity here to get Jalen Hurts injured and still make a run at a Super Bowl if all things go well. We saw it happen with Nick Foles. Maybe Gardner Minshew can lead you to the promised land, but I just hate putting Hurts in that spot where he can get crunched to the frozen ground like he was against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL in the conditions that we saw when we said wind, cold, temperature, weather, environment. It all leads to you probably being able, or at least should, lean on running the football with an offensive line that's one of the best running offensive lines in the NFL. If you think the Eagles can still beat the Cowboys, it's Dallas hate week, as evidenced by the earlier question for you, or me telling you to type F Dallas. If you think the Eagles can still beat the Cowboys, hey, hit that thumbs up icon. Certainly like the video. Coming up now, why the Eagles can still win and secure the NFC East with Gardner Minshew. Make sure you give me a follow, though, on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Love chopping it up with everybody. So this is yet another backup quarterback story in the city of Philadelphia that prides itself on being underdogs. And the Eagles going into this game, underdogs once again to a Cowboys team that nearly lost 2 weeks ago to the Houston Texans and got throttled offensively by the Houston Texans. And then Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence carved Dallas up once again. And Philadelphia, especially late in the year, there's been a lot of injury misfortune to the quarterback position for this franchise, but there's a consistent theme here. Anytime the starter's gone down, the backups have ended up going on these nice little runs, or at least coming in for one game to really play well. From Coy Detmer to A.J. Feely to Michael Vick to Nick Foles, the history is there. And how about this background information? This is why you come to the show. The last 5 times that a backup has made its first start in a season, this is what has happened for Philadelphia. 2017, Nick Foles came in after coming in relief of Carson Wentz at the LA Coliseum after he shredded his knee. Foles beat the New York Giants. The following year, Nick Foles beat the Rams. 2018, Foles beat the Falcons. 2020, Hurts came in as a rookie, surprisingly took down the New Orleans Saints at Lincoln Financial Field. And last year, after the ankle injury to Hurts, Gardner Minshew came in and played very well against the Jets. Let's also rewind it all the way back to 2006, a legendary playoff run for this team that ended in the divisional round against the New Orleans Saints when Jeff Garcia, Christmas Day, this game going to take place on Christmas Eve, came in. He beat the Cowboys 23-7, very similar situation, to clinch a playoff spot in that game. Then later the Eagles won the NFC East. Now the Eagles here in 2022, modern day, have an opportunity to win the division and lock up the number 1 seed. They already did clinch a playoff spot. Some interesting splits too for Gardner Minshew. This is probably why it points to him more so being a backup as compared to a starting quarterback in this league. In his first start of the year, he's made 3 first-time starts in his career. He's awesome. Completions, 61 of 70. Completion percentage, 87+%. Yards per attempt, nearly 10. 7 touchdowns to 1 pick. All other games, 24 of them. And yes, the Jags are a bad team and bad organization, and they were at least when Minshew was there. He's not the same quarterback because teams are able to get tape. And again, this is probably an indication of why he's more of a backup. Completion percentage goes down to 61%, probably telling that this is more so who he is. Yards per attempt down from 10 to 6.7, 34 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, which is great. It's passable, it's doable, but that goes to show you, Gardner Minshew against this Cowboys team, if he goes off and he starts celebrating, the social media videos are going to be wild, and I won't be surprised at all. In fact, I still think that Gardner Minshew and the Eagles win this game on Christmas Eve, and I just don't have faith in the Cowboys in a big spot to win. And oftentimes when a backup quarterback gets a start, they rally around that backup knowing they can't make mistakes. They have to be on their game. They can't slip up. Otherwise, a defeat will happen. And it's a tight playoff race right now in the NFC. So let's go get this dub, Birds. Philadelphia, show up, show out, type stash in the comment section for Gardner Minshew. So many great social media clips for him over the years. And let's hope we get some more Christmas Eve in Dallas. And to celebrate the NFC East in the Cowboys visiting locker room at AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, and to get the number 1 seed in the process, that would be oh so sweet. Can't wait for it. Appreciate all of you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we out.